Jai Bihari Prabhu. You know how I remember your name? You know how I remember your name? I remember your name because the servant of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bihari. That's how I remember you.
Oh. But he's not so strong. Like Bihar.
Bihari is very strong for his size.
Yeah.
We see him carrying all the books, all of the speakers, doing Harinam Sankirtan. What do they have that generator going for?
They're making a well or something.
Yeah.
They're digging a well over there?
Yes. Since 2 days.
Where? Just there?
Yes.
They get the water.
That's called Harinam.
Okay. Progress must continue. Alright, so we're starting late, but still we have about 1 hour before prasadam. And we'll try to take some prasadam through our ears first. Jai Saparikar Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Vihari Jiu Ki. Okay, everybody has to say Jai. Shri Shri Radha Vinod Vihari Jiu Ki. Jai Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Statarasata Shri Shila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Nitilila Pravishto Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Shri Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki. Nitilila Pravishto Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Shri Shila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhara Goswami Maharaj Ki. Nitilila Pravishto Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Shri Shila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj Ki. Nitilila Pravishto Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Shri Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Das Goswami Maharaj Ki. Shri Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki. Vaishnav Sarvabhaum Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki. Shri Gaudiya Vedanta Charya Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu Ki. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki. Shri Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Trai Ki. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Sada Goswami Prabhu Ki. Srila Sarup Damadagaya Ramanandari Gaura Parshada Vrinda Ki. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Sikho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Jai Shri Navadvip Dhama Ki. Shri Antaradvip Mayapur Simantadvip Godrundvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritadvip Janadvip Moda Drumadvip Rudadvip Atmaka Shri Shri Navadvip Dhama Ki. Jai Shri Purushottam Kshetra Shri Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gopo Vardhan Dvadashavanatmaka Shri Braj Mandala Dhama Ki. Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Radha Gopinath Radha Madan Mohan Jiu Ki. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda Radha Shyama Sundar Radha Raman Radha Damodar Jiu Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava Jiu Ki Jai. Shrimati Lalita Vishaka Adi Ashta Sakhi Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Manjari Rati Manjari Adi Manjari Vrinda Ki Jai. Shrimati Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shrimati Purnamasi Yogamaya Devi Ki Jai. Shri Gopi Swar Mahadeva Ki Jai. Sarva Vishta Pradata Giriraj Govardhana Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Jiu Ki Jai. Jai Bhakti Vigna Vinashana Shri Nrsimha Deva Ki Jai. Bhakta Pravara Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Charo Dham Charo Sampradaya Charo Acharya Ki Jai. Akara Matraj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai. Or Ananya Shakamat Samuha Ki Jai. Shri Vishva Vaishnav Raj Sabha Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Tri Bhuvana Pavana Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai. Tri Bhuvana Mangala Harinama Prabhu Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra Ki Jai. Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Shri Nityananda Mahajana Ki Jai. Shri Pancha Tattva Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jataha Padakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanshcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajiva Sadvaitam Sarvabhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Nangayate Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatara. Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gaura Tishe Namah Nityanandam Namastubhyam Premanandam Pradayani Kalo Kalmashanashaya Janava Pataye Namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Jayatam Suruto Pangor Mama Mandamater Viti Matsarvasva Padambojo Radha Madanamo Radha Madanamo Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Shrimad Ratnagar Simhasanasto Shrimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Krishnadabhi Sevyamano Smara Shrimad Rasa Visarambi Vam Shiva Tata Takstitaha Karsan Venu Sanair Gopir Gopinata Shriyestana Bhaktya Vihina Aparadha Lakshay Kshiptascha kamadi tarangamati kripamai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanara vrindai tulsi devai priyai keshavasvacha Krishna bhakti prade devi satyavachai namo. All together, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama First of all, I am offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Sri Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, and Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. I offer my Dandavat Pranams to all of my Sri Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga, to all of my Siksha Guru Varga. And I offer my Dandavat Pranams to all the Vaishnavas and to all the Vaishnavis, both here in Navadvip Dham, in this room, and also all those who are attending through the internet. My Dandavat Pranams to all. Well, we have many topics. In Krishna consciousness movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is always full of nectar. This is one important aspect of the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just like we were reading the other day, Krishna Lila Amritasar Tar Shata Shata Dhar Dasa Dike Vahe Jaha Vaite. Krishna Lila Amritasar. This is quoted from Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Krishna Lila Amritasar. With the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, Krishna Lila. Oh, they are the essence of all Amrita, of all nectar. Krishna Lila Amrita Sar. Tar Shata Shata Dhar. That means from this domain where Krishna Lila is there, like a huge lake. So, Tar Shata Shata Dhar means that there are many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of streams that are coming in all directions. Dasha Dike means all 10 directions. Vahe Jaha Vaite. So in all directions, transcendental streams of nectar are coming from Krishna Lila, because Krishna Lila, it is the ultimate reservoir of all nectar. So, and what is Chaitanya Lila in relationship to that? Chaitanya Lila is collecting this nectar of Krishna Lila. And Chaitanya Lila is like a big sarovara, like a big huge lake. And in that way, the devotees can come like swans, because the swan likes to always float and swim on a lake. So therefore the devotees are called swans, and their minds are called manohamsa, swan-like mind. The minds of the devotees want to always be swimming on this lake of Chaitanya Lila, where Krishna Lila is being distributed in all directions. You follow? You follow this analogy of Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami? So this is our life. This is our business. We have no other business. What are we living for? What are we breathing in and out for? What for? For nectar. That's why we've all come to the Krishna consciousness movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in our lives. In this human form of life, we've been so blessed and fortunate. Any jiva that comes to this mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very blessed and very fortunate, and also very worshipful, worshipable. Vaishnavas are very worshipable. And this topic of worshipping Vaishnavas is topmost, one of the topmost tattvas, Vaishnava tattva. How to recognize a Vaishnava, how to detect who is a Vaishnava. So, I want to speak a little bit about this in relation to Sri Upadeshamrita, because that's our overall topic. The teaching, the essence of all Upadesh, which was given by who? By Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. He spoke this. Who heard it from him? Srila Rupa Goswami. And then Rupa Goswami wrote it down. So this Upadeshamrita is called Upadesh Amrita, the nectar of all Upadesh instructions. And when our Guru Dev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, gave lectures on this book, which are Srila Prabhupada, he translated it as the nectar of instruction. So our Guru Dev, he liked to focus on the 8th shloka. What is the 8th shloka of Upadeshamrita? Who can say? Any of you know? No. Do you know the Sanskrit? Anyone knows the Sanskrit of the 8th shloka? Then tell. Okay. Okay. Everyone repeat. Tan Nama. Tan Nama. Charitadi. Sukirtananu. Smrityo. Kramena. Rasana. Manasi. Niyojya. Tishtan Braje. Tad Anuragi. Jananugami. Kalam Nayed. Akila. Iti Upadesha Saram. Iti Upadesha Saram. Tannama Rupa. Charitadi. Sukirtananu. Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya Tishtan Braje Tadanuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayed Akilam Iti Upadesha Sadam. So can you tell what is the translation? Kamala? Jean, can you tell the translation? Just the general meaning. You don't have to tell it word for word.
But you studied it for long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best that whatever you remember from that verse.
But the essence of all advice is to chant and remember the Nam, Rup, Guna, Lila of Krishna, and you should live 24 hours in Raj under the guidance of elevated Vaishnavas.
And the last line says Kalam Nayed Akilam. That means all of your kala, all of your time.
Always 24 hours.
All of our time should be utilized in this way. So, Tan Nama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtanani. Here Rupa Goswami is saying Sukirtan. This verse, why is this verse so important? Because Rupa Goswami has told at the end of the verse, Iti Upadesha Sadam. This, what he has just told, is the essence of all instructions that you will find all throughout the Vedas, from the mouths of the sadhus, anywhere, all instructions, all Upadesh, this is the essence, this verse. Panyatna, Panimayash. Understand this verse. So therefore it's very important for us to learn this verse. Why? Because we're not here practicing Krishna consciousness to do really anything other than this. This is what we ultimately want to come to in our practice. We want to come to this, what is told in this shloka. We are not there yet. Is anyone doing that? What it is telling in this verse? If you are, I'm immediately going to pay my dandavat pranams to you and take the dust of your feet. This is a very high bar, okay? But guess what? That's the bar you have to cross over. If you want to go to Goloka Vrindavan, you want to go home back to Godhead. How many of you want to go back to Godhead, to the spiritual world? How many of you want to go to the spiritual world? Keep your hand raised in the air if you want to. Okay, I don't see anyone that kept their hand down. What about? We're not asking your qualification. We're asking, do you want to go? Do you want that? Something? What?
We belong to this realm. We have to go.
We belong what?
We belong to this realm.
To the what?
Realm. We belong to this realm. Therefore, we have to go. We have no other choice.
No, you have choice.
No.
That's why you're here. You have choice.
No.
No, we're all here because we have choice. You have choice.
We have to go.
The very fact that you have a human body made out of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. That means you have a choice. We chose to be here. That's a very inconceivable topic. how, when, in what way, all of these things. But the fact is, we're here because of our choice. And we're going through lifetime after lifetime after lifetime making our choice. What we will do it with our life. In animal kingdom, barely any choice is there. It is automatic. But in human form, choice is there to a minute degree. Not a huge amount of choice, but to a small.
Because we are controlled also by our previous actions.
That's right. But you know what? Srila Sridhar Maharaj's statement, I'm going to write it here. 3 big words. Sincerity is invincible. That's how we got here. Sincerity is the number one thing in spiritual life. Number one, sincerity. And what does sincerity mean? What does sincerity actually mean? To be sincere. I quoted this verse the other day from Bhagavad Gita. Krishna tells Arjuna, Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tatu gacchati. If someone is a kalyana krit, that means they always want to do kalyana. They want to gain good for them, the auspiciousness for their soul, for their self. Kalyana. Kalyana krit means someone who's always trying to utilize his life to do good. To do good for himself, to do good for all others. Real good. Kalyana. So durgatim tata gacchati, Krishna says, that person cannot go to a durgati. A durgati means a bad destination. He cannot go down to hell. He cannot go into an animal body. He cannot go down. He will progress. Because he's a kalyana krit. So Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj used that shloka to coin this phrase that sincerity is invincible. Invincible means it cannot be destroyed, it cannot be overcome by anything. No circumstances can overcome sincerity. So this is our main priority. And that sincerity is measured, you want to know how it's measured? By the degree of one's attempt to surrender. Not by the degree of their surrender. That may be greatly lacking still. But their attempt, the degree of their earnestness to perform Sharanagati to Krishna. That's why the whole Bhagavad Gita concludes with that. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam. So we measure our sincerity by our earnestness to improve our Sharanagati, to improve our sadhan bhajan, to improve our acceptance of everything that is favorable for bhakti, to also improve our rejection of everything that's not favorable for bhakti. All of this is measurable. Everything's measurable. We can measure it, and also Guru can measure in you. And Krishna knows everything. He's in our heart. So Krishna's watching us, how we are trying to execute this process. And Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya especially are helping us tremendously, because we're very fallen souls in the Kali Yuga. Okay, and many many shortcomings that we have. But sincerity is what we need to always be focused on. Yes, I'm fallen. I'm the most wretched. It is a fact. I can see it. Others can also see. And I'm so lacking in this way, and this way, and this way. But I want this. I want this. And somehow I have to strive to attain this. So the Upadeshamrita is beginning with these preliminary steps that each devotee has to apply in their life. And that is the proof of our sincerity. And like I said, I want to again stress this point. It's not necessarily your success in achieving that, but it's your stamina, your constant endeavor from your heart to do this and to improve. And Krishna sees that. He reads that in our hearts. And Guru is the extension of Krishna. So Guru is the most merciful aspect of Krishna. Because Guru, he overlooks all of our faults. He doesn't see our faults. He's like Lord Nityananda. Of course he sees, he understands. But he's very, very patient. And always very forgiving for our mistakes and for our fall downs and so on and so forth. But Guru may also be very chastising too. It's not that he's always, oh, you're so nice, you're so good. No. He's treating us in that way. But sometimes chastisement is also coming. Why? Because without having our faults pointed out to us, then we will not receive the full benefit of being under the guidance of an exalted personality. So we must be ready to be chastised. Their chastisement is good for us, even if it's done with apparent anger. There's all different degrees of chastisement. There's soft, there's a little bit harder, like that. Sometimes the chastisement may even be very hard from Guru. But real Guru has no motive in that chastisement other than what? To help you to improve. Tell you a story. I know this story because I was told this story by some of the devotees who were there with Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj in his mat here at Chaitanya Saraswati, but back in the late 1970s and early 1980s, after our Srila Prabhupada left this world. So many devotees started to come there. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he had one Bengali disciple who was one of his first disciples. He did not have huge numbers of disciples. And we all knew this, I'm not going to say names, but we all knew this disciple. And we liked him and so forth. But one day, that disciple was with Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj was chastising him for something. I don't know what the exact thing was. But in a very stern way, he was chastising him. And then that devotee, unfortunately, he began to kind of argue back to Srila Sridhar Maharaj and even say something like, I don't remember, but the point was that he was not accepting this chastisement. And he was being kind of vehement in response to his guru. And you know what happened? Srila Sridhar Maharaj, a big smile came on his face. And he said, you don't understand. I'm chastising you for your benefit. I have no motive other than that. So, now, for the rest of your life, I will never again chastise you. And then that devotee began to understand, uh-oh, I made a big mistake. And until the end of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's divine presence, that devotee never received his mercy of his chastisement again. So, in spiritual life, we have to be ready to have our faults pointed out to us because we don't see them. But others that are more exalted than us, they can see, and they also see our sincerity as well. They also can see that. They always see that. So, Upadeshamrita is teaching us how to learn how to become tolerant. First shloka. First shloka is telling about what? 6 what? Vega. 6 Vegas. What does Vega mean? Huh? Yes. Urge. In the conditioned state, when we are in this material body, mind, subtle body, there are urges that are coming, 6 categories of urges. And the first shloka of Upadeshamrita is telling these 6 urges, and it is telling us that Etan Vegan Yo Vishaheta Dhira. Anyone who can become Dhira, very sober, very self-controlled, Dhira, and he can learn to tolerate. Etan Vegan Yo Vishaheta. Vishaheta means to tolerate these 6 urges. Then Sarvam Apimam Prativim Sashishyat. He now becomes qualified to make disciples even in this world. So, the first, I'm telling the urges. Repeat after me. Vacho Vegam. Vacho Vegam. Manasa Vegam. Krodha Vegam. Vacho Vegam. Manasa Krodha Vegam. Jivva Vegam. Not Jiva, Jivva. Jivva Vegam. Udara Vegam. Upasta Vegam. Jivva Vegam. Udara Upasta Vegam. Jivva Vegam, Udara Upasta Vegam. Okay. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam. Jivva Vegam, Udara Upasta Vegam. Etan Vegan. Yo Vishaheta. Dhira. Etan Vegan. Yo Vishaheta Dhira. Sarvam Apimam. Sarvam Apimam. Prativim. Prativim. Sa Shishyat. Prativim Sa Shishyat. Etan Vegan Yo Vishaheta Dhira Sarvam Apimam Prativim Sa Shishyat. So, here, the 6 urges that every conditioned soul experiences in this conditioned life now are being told. Vacho Vegam, the urge to speak. You can repeat after me. Vacho Vegam, the urge to speak. Manasa Vegam, the urges of the mind. Manasa. Vacho Vegam, Manasa, Krodha Vegam. Krodha Vegam. The actions of anger. Krodha. The actions of anger. Krodha Vegam. Jivva Vegam. The urges of the tongue. Udara Vegam. Urges of the belly. Udara, Upasta Vegam. Urges of the genital. So, these 6 urges are the challenge of the conditioned soul to learn how to control and how to tolerate. If someone does not follow the first shloka of Upadeshamrita in their life, they will not be successful to enter into the path of Sharanagati and of Bhakti. Understand? Yes? One time our Gurudev told that there was one devotee who wanted to hear from him some of the katha of the later shlokas of Upadeshamrita, such as the 8th shloka, 9, 10, and 11, and so forth. Then Gurudev asked him, do you know the first shloka? And he tried, but he couldn't say the first shloka. He says, are you following that first shloka? So, the point is, here's the process now. Srila Prabhupada came to the Western countries where people are completely overindulging in all types of sense gratification and very sinful sense gratification. Yes? Srila Prabhupada came. Then Srila Prabhupada, he had to introduce the process that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given for the conditioned souls to come out from conditioned life and to succeed in developing love for Krishna. So, in doing that, Srila Prabhupada knew that he would have to mention the 4 regulative principles. Because those 4 regulative principles, they are covering all 6 of these Vedas. Right? So, he thought to himself that when I go to the Western countries and then I mention these regulative principles, then they will all go away. But Srila Prabhupada, he didn't mention them in the beginning. First of all, he engaged everyone in doing what? Chanting Hare Krishna. Then he engaged everyone in taking Krishna Prasada. Then he engaged everyone in dancing in Kirtan. And then he engaged everyone in hearing Harikatha, very powerful Harikatha. And those who were fortunate, they stayed around. They didn't go away. And then after some time, a number of weeks, maybe a couple months, then Srila Prabhupada announced, okay, today will be the day of initiation. And so then all the devotees who were on the list to become initiated, they came, they got initiated by Srila Prabhupada. And many of the devotees used to sleep in the big room. It's smaller than this room. Like not as wide, it's maybe like up to here. And about where you're sitting, the last chair there. That's the size of Prabhupada's temple room in 26 Second Avenue. So many of the devotees, they started to sleep there at night and then they would get up. So the day after the initiation, in the morning time, everyone noticed that there was a piece of paper and it was taped on the wall by Srila Prabhupada in his own handwriting. And then he said there, the list. All initiated disciples must follow the following rules and regulations. And then he began to name them. There was about 10. Right? No illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, like this. But also attending kirtan, attending class, chanting 16 rounds daily, like this. By that time, the devotees had become willing to accept. Understand? They may not have been perfect, But they were now willing to accept. Okay, so now we're initiated. Now we have to behave in this way. We have to, like that. So the miracle of the Krishna consciousness movement, which was never seen before, not in this day of Brahma, that Mlechas and Yavanas, who have been born into the lowest conditions in Western civilization, which is Yavana, Mlecha, meat eating, and all bad things, that they can be changed into mode of goodness lifestyle. And they can gradually learn the philosophy of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, everything. And gradually they can become successful to develop their spiritual happiness within their heart by chanting the holy names of Krishna. We have that experience. Everyone here in this room has that experience. Yes, I think none of us were born in devotee family. Oh, kind of. But we have that experience. So that is the power of the pure Vaishnava and the power of the holy names as given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. If any conditioned soul is sincere enough to say, okay, yes, I'll do that. I'll chant Hare Krishna. Yes, I'll stop eating meat, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication. Okay, I'll do that. Oh, okay, yes, I'll live in the temple with the devotees and I'll rise early in the morning and take a shower and like this. Put on tilak. We did that. And guess what happened? We started to become Krishna conscious. Do you remember, all of you, when you started to become Krishna conscious? What kind of experience that was for you? No? Do you remember? No? Huh? Who remembers? When you were first introduced to Krishna consciousness and you began to feel by practicing, you began to feel, oh, this is very special. This is very good. This is very nice. I'm becoming happy. Can you remember experiencing that shift in your consciousness? Da или нет? Помню. Помнишь? Oh. Actually, your heart remembers. But your mind is not yet coordinated with the feelings within your heart. If you had not changed and experienced something, any of us, you would not be here. You would not be here. You'd be there in the material world, trying to enjoy sense gratification. Right? But we have chosen, all of us, to be here. Whether we're here, or we're in Russia, or we're in America, or wherever we are, we've chosen to be with devotees. Yes? Da или нет? Yeah. We've chosen to be with devotees. So that means that we experienced something positive. Is that true or not? Please tell me if I'm saying something that is not true. If I asked each of you individually, how did you come to Krishna consciousness? What was your experience in the very beginning? I love to hear the stories of devotees. I've said this many times. That's one of my favorite things, is to ask a devotee, tell me about your life before you were a devotee and how you met Krishna consciousness. Like that, tell me. Because it's always a very amazing story. Really, it is. And it's the proof that Guru and Krishna are giving their mercy to a conditioned soul. Because we know, unless somebody gets the mercy of Guru and Krishna, they cannot get the what? The Bhakti Lata Bij. The seed of the Bhakti Lata. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Ji Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. This is the statement of Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami. In this universe, there are uncountable numbers of jivas. That means eternal jiva atmas. Eternal. Each one of us is eternal. Each one of us. And we have been here since beginningless time. And we've been wandering and wandering in the universe. Not just this planet. All throughout the universe we've been wandering. Sometimes upper planets, sometimes lower planets. But we've been wandering in this universe since time immemorial. When I first heard this aspect of our philosophy, I was 18 years old, just turning 18. And when I heard this explained to me by a devotee who I met at a big, huge outdoor rock music festival, and that devotee sat with me and told me the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. And then, when I heard that actually I'm eternal, there's never a time when I did not exist. There will never be a time when I will not exist in the future. I'm not this physical body. I'm the consciousness within this body. That's me. And every single living entity, whether they're in a human body, animal, or lower, they're all exactly the same as me. They're all eternal, indestructible soul, Atma. But most jivas who are wandering in the material universe, they are here for millions of lives. And even when they come to the human form, they go back down again. Especially in the Kali Yuga. Especially in Kali Yuga. Because sinful life is so prominent. And again, they go back down. So, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is told is that Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavanji. He says, amongst all of the jivas who are wandering in the universe, Brahmanda Brahmite. Brahmite means to wander, wander, wander. Here, there. That's all we've been doing for millions of lives, is wandering and wandering and wandering. From one body to another, one planet to another. But Kono Bhagyavan Jiv, Mahaprabhu says, amongst those, Kono means someone amongst them. Bhagyavan Jiv. They become fortunate. This word Bhagyavan is different than Bhagavan. Bhagyavan. Bhagya means good fortune. So, anyone who has received mercy and good fortune, then what happens to that person? What happens to that jiva? Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. He receives from Guru and Krishna their combined mercy. Their mercy is combined. Guru Krishna Prasad. You cannot have one without the other. You must have both. Mercy of Guru and mercy of Krishna. Then what happens? Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. He receives the seed of the Bhakti Lata. And this is a very great science. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he instructed Rupa Goswami in this science for 10 days. What is the science? Bhakti Rasa. Bhakti Rasa. And Mahaprabhu, what he told to Rupa Goswami wrote this gigantic book called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean of the nectar of Bhakti Rasa. Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. This is what we are doing. This is why we are in the Krishna consciousness movement, because our Atma has been blessed by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. And also we have previous life samskaras. That's also the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Previous life samskaras. So in this way, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, we have received the mercy. And now our human form of life has become successful. Successful in the fact that we came into contact with sadhu sangha. So the whole science of bhakti, as Rupa Goswami has given, and then the whole science as given in Upadeshamrita by Rupa Goswami, and then later by Raghunath Das Goswami and Manasika, and also as given in Madhurya Kadambini. The whole science of bhakti, how to do bhakti in our life. So in this way, we have become very, very fortunate. We should always know this fact. You cannot just come here to Navadvip Dham in your human form without having some special sanction from some special mercy. It is not by chance that somebody comes to the Dham. Therefore, we should look upon all the humans who are coming and taking darshan and who are wandering, and especially during this Gaur Purnima time, thousands and lakhs of people are coming and they're going by foot, and these are extraordinary souls. They're extraordinary souls, because otherwise they would not be here. So we can look at ourselves that, yes, I am very fortunate. But then, at the same time, we have to look at ourselves as being very unfortunate. Who is showing that example? All of our acharyas in their songs. The song that we sing at Mangal Artik every single day. What is the last verse of that song, written by Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, whose appearance day, 125th appearance day, is when? Tomorrow. Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj. Friday. Before. Wednesday and Friday. What? Huh? Yes, 150th of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati is on Friday. But tomorrow, what?
Saturday. Not Friday, the day after.
Well, wait. Today is Tuesday, correct?
Yes. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Then Saturday. I read in the Vaishnava calendar. Saturday.
Anyway, we'll confirm that.
Yes.
Tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. Param Gurudev. And 2 days later is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Yes, absolutely. Listen, I know it for a fact. On my phone I have the calendar. Okay? It's different than the pure Bhakti calendar. The calendar that we follow here. Okay? So just never mind. I'm guaranteeing you that it's tomorrow and it's Friday. Because on Saturday, there's a special program that we're going to go to in Mayapur, which is also honoring Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. I just received the invitation at one devotee's house there. Okay, that's going to be a late morning program, midday program with feast and everything. But on Friday is the actual day. On Friday is the actual appearance day of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Yeah, that's on the same day, on Friday. Yes. So then, on Thursday, in the evening at 5 p.m., I've been requested by Yashodanandan Prabhu to speak for a half an hour. And they're having a 12-hour non-stop, Hari Katha for Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Go ahead. What?
Should they close the samadhi because Vinodabha, he must come?
Well, they should. I think they should do what they normally do now. Yes, because we don't know what time, but it's not going to be till like later. Okay, they should be ready to open it for him when he comes. Okay, and also they should have a garland from Srila, from Gurudev. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what was the last thing we said? So yeah, on Thursday. So tomorrow is Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj's. And tomorrow, certainly, we are going to have Harikatha. On Thursday, day after tomorrow, is also the celebration of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The day before, I've been requested to speak at 5. So we'll have, at 5 p.m. here, we'll have Katha for half an hour, but then it stops. But I may continue after that. And then on Friday, there will be so much going on the 150th anniversary of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada.
150, not next year?
No, it's this year. It's this year.
150th year.
Yeah. This is the beginning of the entire year. Yeah. This is his actual 150th anniversary.
Beginning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, anyway, it's on the Gaudiya Mutt calendar, which is followed by all the Gaudiya Mutts. That is his 150th anniversary. And I know because Bhakti Vibhuti Bodayan Maharaj, he was talking about this in the summertime, how he wants to have big, huge celebration for Prabhupada. Yeah. Okay. So, let me complete what I'm telling here. To come to the 8th shloka of Upadeshamrita, we will first have to properly follow the 7 shlokas before that. But when we are successful to follow the 7 shlokas, then we become eligible to begin to try to follow the 8th shloka. To begin to try to follow the 8th shloka. And the 8th shloka is the essence of all instructions. When we perform that type of bhajan, then the 9th, 10th, and 11th shloka of Upadeshamrita, which are talking about the glories of Srimati Radhika, the glories of the gopis, and especially the glories of her kunda, Shri Radha Kunda. Because that's the ultimate place in the whole universe. And for 3 shlokas, Srila Rupa Goswami describes that at the end of the Upadeshamrita. But before we can appreciate and actually do that type of bhajan, we'll have to follow the 8th shloka. So the 8th shloka cannot be followed unless we follow the first 7 shlokas. And the first 3 shlokas are talking about 6 favorable, 6 unfavorable, and also the 6 Vedas. Then the 4th shloka, Dadati Pratigrinati, is talking about the 6 exchanges of love between the Vaishnavas. 6 types of exchanges. Dadati Pratigrinati, Guhyam Akyati Prichati, Bhungte Bojayate Chaiva, Shadvidam Priti Lakshana. Unless we are ready to begin in our life to exchange these with Vaishnavas, then we will not develop our vision of the Vaishnavas. Because the next after that, the 5th, 6th, and 7th sloka, they're all based upon understanding the level of the Vaishnava, especially the 5th sloka, and honoring and respecting all Vaishnavas according to their level. And not only all Vaishnavas, all living entities. Otherwise, why did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tell in the 3rd slok of Sikshastakam, Trinadapi Sumichina, Tadorapi Sahishnana, Amanina, Mana Dena, Mana Dena, Kirtaniya Sadhana. Unless we learn how to properly honor and respect all living entities according to their level. That means even the dog, even the insect. Why? Because they're jivatmas. We should not cause distress to any living entity. So, in this way, when we come to the Vaishnava, society of Vaishnavas, then we have to learn how to recognize who is Vaishnava on what level, and according to that, we have to learn how to properly honor and to properly respect the Vaishnavas. And, of course, there are 3 levels, Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttam. But Gurudev told us within each one of those 3 levels, there are many, many, many levels. Many. So when a devotee can properly follow this 5th shloka of Upadeshamrita, yes, then they can begin to properly honor and respect what? An Uttam Vaishnava. This is the key. The key is to understand and respect and surrender and serve Uttam Vaishnavas. That is essential for our spiritual advancement. Without that ability to recognize who is a Uttam Vaishnava and to properly honor and surrender at their feet with deep humility and deep regard, then we cannot properly advance in our bhakti. That's why there are so many offenses that are committed by the Kanishtas, because they disrespect Vaishnavas and don't give them the proper respect, and especially the Uttam Vaishnavas. When that happens, they have just dealt the death blow to their bhakti. Death blow. As Mahaprabhu says, Hati Mata, mad elephant offense. Because an elephant comes into a garden and then he tramples on the plants and he takes his trunk and he uproots the plants. So that example is given by Mahaprabhu, that our bhakti lata that is nicely growing, it can be destroyed by mad elephant offense. Vaishnava Paraj. Very, very dangerous thing. So, in today's world, there are many, many very highly qualified Vaishnavas. There are many who are on various levels of Madhyam. And there are also some that are on Uttam level. And we have to learn how to properly recognize them and how to properly honor them. Does it depend on what their outer appearance looks like? Is that how we're going to recognize them? By their outer appearance, what cloth that they're wearing, what color cloth that they're wearing, whether they shave, whether they don't shave, whether they have long, long matted hair or beards. Is that how we recognize Vaishnava? Please tell me. I want to know from all of you if that's the way to recognize a Vaishnava. No. There's one great Vaishnava personality who, if you see his photo, You'll be completely, your mind will be blown. Who is that? Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj. Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj. Maha Bhagavat. Living during the time of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He had matted hair, beard, just wearing a loincloth. There's so many things to tell about him. But he was a fully realized Mahabhagavad Vaishnava. Fully realized that he was talking to Gaur Nitai, his deities. He would have conversations with them. So many stories about him. You could not understand by his external behavior. Sometimes he wouldn't follow Ekadasi, and then sometimes he would follow Ekadasi for many days. You know, he was not in the material world, and he was not outwardly conscious of just this physical body. These are Maha Bhagavats. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. He was a complete avadut, completely renounced. His renunciation was so rigid, no one can even copy. Everyone compared his renunciation to what? Raghunath Das Goswami's renunciation. So, in this world, there are many Vaishnava institutions. We are connected with different Vaishnava institutions. International Society for Krishna Consciousness, yes, and Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, and many others. Srila Prabhupada writes in the Nectar of Devotion, his book Nectar of Devotion, he says, there are many societies of pure devotees. He writes that sentence. There are many societies of pure devotees. In those days, when Prabhupada wrote that, there was only one society. For us, that's ISKCON. And Prabhupada, the pure devotee. But in his book, he says there are many societies of pure devotees. So then we have to think, well, where are those other societies of pure devotees? And then also, the next sentence he said, and one must try to associate with pure devotees in one of those institutions. He doesn't specify only this institution, only that society. No. How to recognize a Vaishnava? Can you please tell me? How to recognize a Vaishnava?
You have to become self-pure devotee.
What?
You have to become self-pure devotee.
I can't understand.
You have to become a pure devotee, and you can recognize.
No, that is not a fact. Did you hear what he said? You have to become a pure devotee, then you can recognize. No. Why does Rupa Goswami? Do you think that the Upadeshamrita is for completely pure devotees only? No. Rupa Goswami is teaching how to recognize and how to properly honor and respect in the 5th shloka. Then in the 6th shloka, he's talking about how to recognize a pure devotee, even if there's so many different aberrations physically or whatever. That's the 6th shloka. Then the 7th shloka is how to continuously chant the holy name of Krishna. And then the 8th shloka is telling how to do perfect, pure bhajan. But recognizing a Vaishnava, we have to learn and we have to imbibe the proper mood. Yes, of course, the Uttam Mahabhagavats, they're very mysterious. Many persons will come to a person like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, and they'll recognize that, oh, he's considered to be by so many as a great Mahabhagavat. But if you read the life history, none of them could stay with him. So what I'm saying is that we have to understand that in the neophyte condition, the Vaishnavas are trying to execute bhakti, and they're trying gradually to come into Shuddha bhakti, and they're trying to associate with Vaishnavas and so forth. But there are many mistakes that are made. So we gradually have to learn to honor and respect Vaishnavas according to their level. Now, how are you going to understand their level? Okay, now I'm going to tell you, because I already asked you. But I only got this one answer. How to understand the level of a Vaishnava. How to perceive and recognize the level of Vaishnavas. First of all, Rupa Goswami says, forgetting the first line of the 5th shloka. What is that? Okay. Yes. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyetam dikshasti chet pranatibischa bhajantam isham shushushaya bhajana vigya mananya manya nendadi shunya ridam ipsita sangalabdya. So here in this one shloka, number 5, here Rupa Goswami is dividing the 3 categories of Vaishnavas. And he's saying here, Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. That means, manasa adriyeta means in your mind, you offer them respect. Manasa adriyeta. Krishneti yasya giritam. That means that Krishna, the name Krishna, they have chanted the name of Krishna. A person who has chanted the name of Krishna. Now, there's a lot more to explain this criterion. It doesn't just mean like one person on the street who you're meeting and you say, hey, can you say Hare Krishna? He says Hare Krishna. No, it doesn't mean such a person. But it means a person who is trying to chant the name of Krishna. They're trying to chant. So that's the beginning qualification of a what? A kanishta. That they're trying to chant Krishna, Krishneti yasya giritam. They're trying to chant the name of Krishna. Then the second category of Vaishnava is Madhyam. And what is the outward symptoms of a Madhyam? Dikshasti chet pranatibish chabhajantam isham. Here it says Diksha, Dikshasti. That means they have accepted Diksha. They have undergone the process of accepting Diksha mantras from a Diksha guru and Bhajantam Isham. They're now trying to worship the Supreme Lord in their life. Trying to worship them continually.
That is Madhyam?
Yes. What? 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 Do you have something to say about that? Or some doubt about that?
I think I'm Kanishta, also like a Diksha.
Yeah, but what is real Diksha? Here, okay, it's a good point that you made, actually. It's a good point. What is Diksha? Divyam Jnanam Tato Dadyat Kuryat Papasya Sankshayam Tad Diksheti Sa Prokta Deshikais Tattvakovidai. This is the verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas Sanatana Goswami, where he's telling what is the actual meaning of the word Diksha. So, all of us, if we say we've received Diksha, that's not completely accurate. Because why? Because receiving Diksha means Divya Jnanam Tato Dadyat Kuryat Papasya Samshaya. To achieve Diksha means that you achieve this perfectional state. That Divya Jnana, you have realized, all realization. But what has been explained by our Gurudev is that we have been given entrance into the university, the school of Diksha. Now we can begin to practice, to receive Diksha. We have not received Diksha yet, only externally. External is important though, because if someone has externally received Diksha mantras, of course they may still be, most of them are Kanishta, most of them. But here, Rupa Goswami is saying, actually they've received Diksha. That means they're somewhat advanced, okay? Because Madhyam Adhikari, and there are different levels of Madhyam, you know, especially 3 different levels. There is a Madhyam Kanishta, Madhyam Madhyam, and Madhyam Uttam. And then also in Uttam category, there are also 3 main levels. But there's many, many other levels as well, Gurudev said. So, to recognize who is a Vaishnava, we have to understand that they are living the life of a Vaishnava. They are doing all the necessary activities. This is Madhyam. Madhyam means someone who's following completely Upadeshamrita and progressing more and more and gradually coming from the stage of what? Nishta. That's the beginning of Madhyam. And that Nishta stage also begins in the high level of Kanishta. That there's some Nishta. But actual Nishta, this is another level, okay? Because you cannot have actual Nishta unless some Divya Gyan has come into your heart. Okay, so there has to be some Divya Gyan, some realization like that. But when the Madhyam comes to the middle stage, Madhyam, then he's in the stage of Ruchi. And at that stage, now, his progress is very, very quick. Gurudev said that like galloping on a horse. Like you're on a horse, you're sitting on the horse, and at first the horse is just walking. Then after that, the horse begins to trot. But the highest gear of the horse is galloping very fast. So Gurudev said, if you come to the stage of taste, okay, ruchi, you come to the stage of ruchi, taste, then you can gallop. Then you can really gallop in your bhakti. But ruchi is not only beginning there. Gurudev even told this many times. Gurudev told that ruchi can even touch. It can touch in the lower stages. And when you're in the presence of a Mahabhagavat Vaishnava, this is the power of the Vaishnavas, that their bhavs, their moods, can come onto you, and then you can be touched by that. This is the style of our Gurudev's preaching, because he's preaching such powerful rasa kata, braj ras kata, and trying to touch everyone's heart with ruchi. But it doesn't mean that now you have achieved the stage of ruchi. It means that you've been touched. And Rupa Goswami explains that the bhavs of a great Vaishnava come and they spill out into the audience and you can be touched. Gurudev said, prem atoms of prem are coming from the exalted Vaishnavas. So we should be very careful when there is a personality who is in that level, not to commit any offense, even in your mind, okay? Even in your mind to commit some offense. We should be very careful. So when we see a Vaishnava who is very fixed for years and years, and chanting 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, doing so much tapasya, living in the dham, it doesn't matter whether their hair is matted or what. That's not the criterion. The criterion is how are they living, how are they doing their sadhan bhajan, what's their level. So when we understand that there is such a person who has spent their life in that way, and now they're in old age, they are very exalted personalities. We have to be very careful not to commit offense. So that's what I can say for today, because now it's time for everyone to go and take prasad. Yes. So now this afternoon I'm making the announcement that there's a very strong possibility, it's almost like certain, that our Vinod Baba, who has come here, that he will be coming to visit our temple this afternoon. We're told maybe around 3:30. We don't know for sure. But at any rate, practically definitely coming, because tomorrow he's leaving Navadvip and traveling, and then going back to Braj eventually. So we want to greet him and honor him. And he also has never seen Gurudev's Samadhi, and he also didn't get the chance to have the darshan of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, and he laments that fact. But he also saw all the paintings of Shamarani. Shamarani came to visit him and actually gave him a gift of about 4 very large frame giclées, like that, of her art. So then she also gave a message, a voice message, that was played for him, where she's inviting him to come to the Gurudev Samadhi. Why? To see Srila Gurudev and his Samadhi, but also it's a museum. And the museum has all these levels of beautiful, beautiful artwork coming from many of the paintings, especially the top level, the Krishna Lila level. So we're hoping that he will come, and in that way we will have opportunity to do some seva for exalted Vaishnava. Okay, so now we should all go and take prasadam. And be ready, because the announcement can come at any time that they're coming. But it will more than likely be later afternoon, 3:30, like that, 4 o'clock maybe, who knows. Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Jiu Ki Jai. Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai, Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai, Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Pancha Tattva Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Mancha Kalpajarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Ki